Laughing Brook. Poetry for sensual consciousness. Between a rock and a hard place, there the stream of life flows, all none the less. The Pearl. I stood and looked into the dark. Black sea is quiet. Softly. When I took my breath, carefully and deep, and let me be kissed by this cold kiss. As I sunk deeply, became one with this, to find the wondrous ground, a sea of life around me. I glided weightlessly along the beauty, up to that rock where I stopped to find a pearl, a crumbled treasure. With her in hand, I found my way to light and air. I took her home to share me. In my careful touch, I cleaned her, helped her into her beauty, loved her that much, placed her into a cast, a many-hour loving labor. Pure gold is what I gave her, and all my heart for that, until that last exhale, after the finishing touch. I took a bath to groom me, put on festive clothes, golden yellow velvet pants, wide around my legs. Finest red was my shirt, bold as pirate dares. How long I stood before the fire, 2 candles shone her beauty, as luscious pearl, so boldly, so all-enticing, inflamed this lover's heart. I'm dancing softly, I sway my hips as we make love. And with a final glance, I put her on my ear. That's where I'll wear her from now on, through life's peculiar dance. It all starts with a glance. To see it makes it be it. Well, now, there are numerous takes one could have on a poem like that. And be my guest, go and have it your way. But wait a minute, let's take a pause. If that is really the case, I read it and see, say, a certain sleazy analogy for trickstering your way into someone's pants, and you read it and are moved by the passionate and tender and committed attention of our pearl diver. Your friend, though, feels the lonely lostness of the pearl, and her way of being kissed by passion into beauty and into the shiny light of a golden throne is a song of joy and hope. There is a very curious and fragile thing about communication, where it's not only the actual message that is being given, but also the context of the one sending and the one receiving that determines what is being heard. And this is true for a lot of ways in which we interpret the messages we get from our surrounding. We all get the very same impulse, but as it lands in us, chances are it has become something very different for me and for you. For you come to it with your set of experiences, cultural agreements, your current mood, and so many more factors that influence how we perceive something. As do I. When you think of it, how much misunderstandings and arguments may be coming just from that? Me assuming you would experience the same thing. And yet, there are, of course, also those wonderful moments in life where it feels like we're all seeing the same thing, be it in lovemaking, at a concert, with virtuosity, a political rally, or whatever connects us. Now, when you ponder, you may begin to wonder. You could begin to wonder whether we are all ghosting our way through one giant cabinet of mirrors, and each of us sees what they want to see. It's kind of an obvious thought here. Let's change perspectives here and move into something of a more philosophical or spiritual view by looking at consciousness. Those different interpretations I just spoke about are from the perspective of me. So let's try to change perspectives with something that you may have encountered in reflection or meditation. I observe myself having a certain reaction to, say, a poem. As I do so, I may note that there is the me that has the reaction. But there's also some sort of me observing me having the reaction. But then I can't really help but noting that there is a version of me that observes me observing me. And I can go on and on. There's always another level that observes. So there is this least conscious version of me in which I am in possibly mindless, helpless identification with all the notions and emotions that go on inside of me. But when I step back and learn to see all this, I gain a certain freedom as I become aware. This is what you are feeling right now. But then, if I practice that for a while, I notice that there is another observer to observe all of this going on. So I may become aware of this new observer, and then note that there's yet another observer observing all this. It's turtles all the way down. In following those observers, this thing I call I or me is a fluid presence of awareness that moves up and down an endless chain. An endless chain that has an end, me, that is. As I observe all of this, I may be noting something like an event horizon in which all those things occur. Buddhists speak of space in this context. The Tao Te Ching calls it emptiness. It is not really something like a defined space, say inside a room where you could ask what is outside of that room. It's more like being aware of awareness and of what happens within awareness, so within the space of awareness. When you go there, something wild can happen. Do you know those 3D books where you stare at a seemingly randomly colored pattern? And if you manage to look at it in a non-focused way, all of a sudden a 3D object jumps out at you. This 3D image, or to put it more philosophically, the information, was there all the time. But in your normal way of seeing, you could not see it. But now in this non-focused way, it pops out on you all of a sudden. It's there. And it is there very clearly and vividly. Just like that. When you become aware of space, that is, of awareness being aware, you might begin to see something of the simultaneous nature of everything. So in our case, that would be the simultaneous nature of all our interpretations, for example. And seeing is a somewhat misleading term, as seeing may be part of it, but it is more like knowing and strangely also being it, but in no attached or identified way. So it really all starts with a glance. The pearl. I stood and looked into the dark, black sea is quiet. Softly, when I took my breath, carefully and deep, and let me be kissed by this cold kiss. As I sunk deeply, became one with this. A sea of life. A sea of life around me. Weightlessly along the beauty. Up to that rock where I stopped to find a pearl, a crumbled treasure With her in hand, I found my way to light and air. I took her home to share me in my careful touch. I cleaned her, helped her into her beauty, loved her that much. Placed her into a cast. A many hours loving labor. Pure gold is what I gave her, and all my heart for that. Until that last exhale. After the finishing touch. I took a bath to groom me. Put on festive clothes. Golden yellow velvet pants. Wide around my legs. Finest red was my shirt. Bold as pirate dares. How long I stood before the fire. 2 candles shone her beauty. As luscious pearl, so boldly, so all-enticing, inflamed this lover's heart. And dancing softly, I sway my hips as we make love. And with a final glance, I put her on my ear. That's where I'll wear her from now on through life's peculiar dance. It all starts with a glance. Thank you for diving into this episode of my podcast. I wonder, have you ever been inflamed by a pearl of yours? Could be a person, could be a thing to do, a place to go, who knows? Now, isn't it magical how encountering such a pearl gets you all inflamed? Maybe you want to share about it. I'd be happy and curious to hear. Time to say goodbye for this time around, though. Glad to have you come back for the next one, which will be, well, let's see when. My name is Laughing Brook. I'm a poet, dancer, mystic, nature coach, and man whisperer. And I'm honored that you gave me your time. May you find your pearl.